Jai Shri Ram. This activity can be called the johari window activity. It's a very useful psychological tool to help you know more about yourself and build trust with others. Now, this was developed by Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. So these two psychologists together did some work, and finally that's why it is called johari. Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham. So the name became johari. So there are two key ideas behind this tool: that individuals can build trust between themselves by disclosing information about themselves, and they can learn about themselves and come to terms with personal issues using the feedback that others are willing to give. If you look like the type who is willing to receive feedback, most people don't like any feedback. They only like compliments. People don't cannot stand uh, constructive criticism, feedback. So this activity is very simple. Now you see these pictures are there. Now the first one is how to use the johari window. Things I know about myself and things others know. That is called the arena, the open area. Now there is a list which I will discuss later. This slide is there after a few slides. So, and this next quadrant is called our blind spot. Things I don't know, but things others know. For example, if I take myself, the way I smile, I may not know how I am smiling actually, because my smile could be actually sarcastic. My smile could be offensive, and I may not be even aware of that. And I might be thinking that I'm a nice person smiling all the time. But the more I smile, the more I actually offend and irritate people, because there is a sarcasm in the way I smile. I would never know unless I'm willing to listen to people who are willing to tell me. Because if I come across as a person who doesn't like any criticism, they will never tell me, and I will die with this blind spot. So there could be words that I use without knowing. There could be some facial expressions, my body language. There could be many things about myself or in my own behavior. I might be so unconscious and unaware of the way I act and behave, uh, while others can actually notice it. I might be thinking that I'm a very nice person. All of us have a very good positive opinion about ourselves. But it is quite possible that there could be something very negative about us and we are unaware, while others can see that, isn't it? So, that is why when we wear a nice, when we wear a new dress, we usually tend to ask others, how do I look in this? So, the same way you should ask others about how you behave, your facial expressions, your choice of language, the way you smile, and so many other things about you. So, this will help you reduce your blind spot. That is when you are willing to ask people to give feedback and willing to take that feedback graciously without getting annoyed and angry with them. And then that is things I know, but things others don't know. This is the facade. That means there are many things about me I don't tell you. I don't need to tell you, and I won't tell you. So that is the facade. I think I know about myself certain things, but you don't know. So the more things that are there in the facade, this quadrant concealed, the less is the likelihood of trust in that relationship. And unknown is that quadrant where neither others know about me nor I know about myself. And to discover that, we have to undertake self disclosure and also take into account others' observation, and then perhaps we will be able to know many other things about ourselves. So, all that you have to do today is take this handout, take a screenshot and pass it on to your mother, father, brother, sister and friend. See, exercise 1 I have written. To get started, pick the 5 or 6 words that you feel best describe you from the list below. Ask the other person to identify 6 words which you think describe yourself. And you also sit down quietly. Don't let the other person see what you're doing. You identify 6 words which you think describe yourself. Okay. For example, I might describe myself as able, calm, confident, friendly and independent. First 5 words I have chosen for myself. And it may be possible that somebody, my father, mother, brother, friend or my student or someone else who I think knows me well, that is the criteria. That person should be knowing me well, at least for a considerable period of time, so that he or she is in a position to identify some characteristics of mine. Now, that person may identify bold, complex, religious and witty and let us see, even silly. You see, now that person has not identified any of the first 5 words which I chose for myself. So, then when that person gives me the list and that person doesn't know that I am able, calm, confident, friendly and independent. So, that is what I think about myself, and that person doesn't seem to be knowing that, because perhaps I have not given him any evidence of such a thing. While now my blind spot is that I am being viewed as a person who is silly and witty. Okay, yeah, that means I am humorous too, and religious. And what else? Complex. I am not a simpleton or a simple guy. Maybe I am very complex in a positive way or perhaps in a negative way. So, and something else that person has had identified. Okay, what else? Clever or something like that. So, now I can do a lot of questioning. I can actually conduct a small interview of that other person and ask them kindly to tell me why they thought that I was silly. Then they will come up with examples of what I did in a particular situation. Now, that will give me an insight and that can help me correct my behavior, so that I am no longer viewed as silly and all that. So, this is actually these 55 words are simple positive words. Now, the real fun will start when you take the weaknesses. Now, I might consider my weaknesses as, let us say, as usual, incompetent, violent, insecure, hostile and needy. Now, the other person, somebody else, might think that I am cowardly. Last column, you see, cynical. Cynical means deeply suspicious, not trusting anybody, and boastful, and rash, and callous, which means insensitive, or even smug. Let him pick 6. Smug means complacent, self-satisfied, feeling that you already know everything, and so you don't have to learn anything. That kind of a nasty attitude. Now, this is a very when people are willing to tell us about our weakness, that is when they can when they can help us most to identify our blind spots, and thus we can reduce our blind spot by not acting in such a way that we give others this kind of a impression about ourselves. In fact, long ago when I used this tool in a classroom, there were 2 girls who seemed to be good friends, but after I administered that tool, and the second part especially, we had a good laugh, but in the next class I found that the girls were sitting at the opposite ends of the classroom, because they were terribly angry with each other. I had to sit and counsel them. So, this is a very nice tool called the Johari window. Okay. So, please take a good look, and I am sure my description helped you a lot. What you have to do today is to take the positive and the negative chart, you see, take a screenshot, pass it on to your father, mother, brother, sister and some close friend. Let them identify 6 positives and 6 negatives, and then have fun. Learn a lot about yourself. Okay. Jai Shri Ram.